Hello and welcome to the SRC Community Corner Live Forum powered by Serenity Resource Connector. This evening, we're diving into the theme Reimagining Maths Education from Classroom Innovation to National Recognition. And we're joined by two outstanding educators in Clarendon, Sasha Ashley-Kelly, first runner-up in the 2025 Math Teacher of the Year competition, and Damain Fearon, developer of the Math Bridge Intervention and a participant in the NCEL Aspiring Principals Programme Cohort 10. So from creative classroom strategies to national accolades, this conversation is all about how Jamaican teachers are changing the game in maths education. So stay with us, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's celebrate the power of innovation in education right here in Jamaica. So feel free to share in the comments where you are connecting from, whether you are a member of the Mapen Primary family, or Lady Kelly, remind us of your institution.
Pleasant Valley. It's Pleasant Valley Primary and Infant.
Fantastic. So feel free to share in the comments if you're joining us from any of those two institutions, or if you are a member of the SRC community here. Welcome back for those who are joining us on Facebook, YouTube. No one on Instagram as yet. All right. So we have Mapen Primary rolling in. Very proud of my former teacher, Mr. Fearon, MPPS. All right. Pleasant Valley Primary and Infant. All right. Amazing. And we are looking forward to learning so much from Mrs. Kelly and Sir Fearon. All right. But let's see where this all started. So I came across this TikTok video and I saw Romeo, a member of the SRC community, sharing and highlighting this awesome lady. And I was commending Romeo on his video. And he said, you should highlight her on your platform. And I was like, why not? Let's get her connected. And so that's why we're here. So Romeo Mitchell, Paradise Blend, thank you so much for connecting us with Mrs. Kelly so we can hear her inspiring story. So Lady Kelly, let's get started.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me.
All right, Math Teacher of the Year 2025, first runner-up. That was a journey and not something that happened overnight, right? So how did this journey begin for you and what motivated you to participate?
How did the journey begin? So I've been teaching at Pleasant Valley since 2004, and recently, just September 2023, we started the specialist model. So there are now subject-based teachers. I was on vacation leave, returning January 2024. I started teaching mathematics to upper school. So that would be grades 4, 5, and 6. And in November, I remember my principal saying to me, so that would be first term, I'm signing you up for something, mathematics. I said, okay. Then she said to me, are you a part of any mathematics community? And I said, yes, I'm a part of the national planning group. She said, okay. Then I remember her saying to me, I sent you a link to attend a meeting. I said, okay. When I joined the meeting, I realized they definitely told me the meeting was for principals only. And so she joined the meeting, went home, enjoyed my Christmas holiday, and then I went back to school the 6th of January. And on the 7th of January, which was a Tuesday, I remember her coming upstairs and saying to me, did you check your email? There's an email, so the mathematics team is coming for observation. So you need to check the email. I said, what is the email about? She said, Maths Teacher of the Year competition. I said, really? But I remember getting a call from Mrs. Johnson Burrell the day before, and she needed my timetable. But I'm not aware of this competition. So I was there trying to say to her, all right, miss, guess what? We're preparing for PEP. I just don't have the time. So can you just tell them I'll enter next year? And she stood there and she was listening. And I thought, based on her facial expression, that yes, she was going to say to them, okay, my teacher is not going to be competing this year. And then walking off, she said, go ahead, you better enter. You're going to enter. You're going. I was like, no. And so I ran to my class and I said, I'm not going. I don't want to enter. And I started stamping my feet and I was like, no, I'm not going. I don't want to. And the tears came down and my student sat there and she said, Miss, what is it? I'm like, I'm going into this competition and I don't want to. I'm not interested. Not this year, not now. And then they said, Miss, go on, no man, go on. And then I gave it thought. And my family too, my immediate family, the entire school family, my colleagues were just like, Kelly, go on. Kelly, you can do it. And my parents, my mother, my siblings, they said, look here, just enter. It is not the end of the road. Just go. It is what it is. Whatever the final result, we're still with you. And so that's how I actually entered the competition.
Talk about a supportive community, including your students.
Yes, indeed.
That is very encouraging. Romeo is here. No, sir. Really? All right. Welcome, teachers from the different schools. All right. So, for another colleague who is being encouraged and might be getting cold feet, or walk us through, guide them through the process, the stages of the competition from nomination to the final presentation. What stood out for you at each phase?
All right, so nomination is done at the regional offices. And then the principals must approve this nomination. Upon nomination, then you're informed that you were shortlisted. And so your first phase is a lesson observation, and that's from a team of mathematics coordinators from different regions. So I had one person from Region 7, one from Region 2, and one from Region 5. So shortlisting is the first thing you're informed, and then your first lesson observation. After your lesson observation, the worst thing for me is that you are not told the scores. Nobody says, okay, it went well, but you need to fix this, or this is where you fell down. You will just have to wait on another email to say whether or not you'd have made it to the next round. And for my first observation, I guess everything went well. What stood out the most for me, my first lesson observation, was that one of my students, that I would call him the most disruptive student in my class, he was so engaged. And the questions that he asked even caused the observers to think that, hey, this was a student. And so that was one of the good things for me in the first stage. The second stage has two phases. So it's a lesson observation and an interview. So yes, this time you are told of the date they're coming, time, and the grade level. The interview is conducted in Kingston. So this was done by math coordinators as well from different regions. And then you are told via email again for your next stage. And I can remember February the 28th was my principal's birthday when we found out that I was a national finalist, as well as I was a part of top 5. So I would have mastered the observation, mastered the interview. And she sent me a WhatsApp message saying, this is the best birthday gift ever. And so I know my entire team was with me, and the school population. I can remember one colleague, she was the one who read the message because I was so nervous. And she said, yes, and here we go. And I am having the awards ceremony and I am presenting the mathematics teacher of the year to none other than Mrs. Sasha Ashley-Kelly. And we were just cracking up. And so the final phase is also an unannounced lesson observation. So you're told the week, but not the day nor a date. And then there's also a presentation on a topic that's relevant, that's related to mathematics, as well as differentiated instructions and creating a development plan. And so the final stage, same 3 persons from the different regions came. And then the presentation was done in Kingston with the math coordinators from different regions, as well as the person in charge of all the mathematics coordinators in Jamaica. Final award was on Monday, the 24th of March. This was when we went back to Kingston, Canewood Center. My principal, my friend, and myself, yes, nobody else was invited. And so this is where everything unfolds. So I found out I was national finalist. I was a Region 7 winner, and I was placed second in Jamaica. The competition is not just for primary school teachers. It is for both high schoolers and primary teachers as well.
Amazing. National finalists, regional winner. All right, let's make this bigger. And second place in Jamaica. And your awards from the regional office. Such an amazing journey. Kudos to you and the team that was there cheering you on. But how did your teaching philosophy or approach, what do you believe those help you to stand out in these unannounced observations and the interviews?
For me, I think mathematics should be student-centered, should be centered around making mathematics relevant, should be engaging. And regardless of a student learning style or their ability levels, they should all be catered for. And I can remember when I just started teaching, one education officer would say, I like your lessons. You do not consider them to be pantyhose. It is not one size fits all. And so I always try to cater to the needs of my students. So students should be engaged, where they learn, where they collaborate with each other. And so you actually pull from each other and you learn from this collaboration that's taking place in the groupings. Students must be active participants and using real life experiences, get them to relate to what's happening in and around them. So when you present a mathematics lesson or a topic, students should be hands-on. The scenarios that you create should be related to their experiences. And while doing so, you should be building confidence. Students should be using tools. I can remember in one lesson, my students were measuring. They were trying to find area and perimeter. It was the first time they saw the trundle wheel in real life. It was the first time they were going to manipulate it. And I gave them the chance to select the measuring tool they wanted. And believe it or not, the students selected the trundle wheel. They didn't know how it worked, but yet there was a discussion in the groups and they figured it out in the end. And that was one of the things for me that got the observers, the coordinators were surprised, because in the end I told them, yes, what they did was not fully correct, yes, but it was the first time they were actually manipulating the trundle wheel. So I think there should be connection. Let us forget teaching mathematics as just an abstract subject. So let's try to integrate other subject areas as well and try to make it engaging, encouraging. And I'm pretty sure that they saw the level of encouragement and mutual respect in all the lessons that were taught. So it wasn't anything that happened overnight.
I love that. I actually love that approach, because when I think about it, I loved maths. in throughout school. But looking back, I wished I had this kind of approach in terms of the real life application. Because
True.
when I talk to my niece about math, oh, but we need math every day, because if you need to get
Every
from
day.
point A to point B, here's how math become a part of that. You have to work out what time you
Exactly.
need to start getting ready, and how long it will take you to get ready so you can leave at a particular time. And in the event
Get
something is
there.
going to happen down the road, you don't have any control over that. So how much time do you need to allow yourself to get to where you need to go on time? So I love the
Exactly.
fact that you're helping them to actually make the connection to real life situations. So no wonder you are our shining star. And if I am beaming like this and we are just meeting virtually, I can't begin to imagine how your students, your school, and the wider education community Region 7 are feeling. But what does this recognition mean for your students and your school and the wider Region 7?
Well, for me, it's not just a personal achievement. It's actually a win for my students, for my school, and for the entire Region 7 community. It shows that hard work and dedication actually pays off, and it can lead to great things. I continue to inspire my students with my family story. And I think in the end, seeing that, yes, I entered, this is not just Clarendon, it's Jamaica. I came second. High school teachers were a part of it. So I think this is a motivation to my students that the sky is not just the limit. We can go beyond. In terms of my school family, for me, it validates the hard work that we're putting in and how we're trying to improve teaching and learning at Pleasant Valley. And as my principal would say, the world is going to know our name, and Pleasant Valley will be written in the Hall of Fame. So at Pleasant Valley, yes, we continue to grow and we continue to make teaching and learning engaging as we all continue to trend. So we want to make teaching and learning the best. We want students to get the best out of every single lesson for every single subject, not just mathematics. But this shows, it is proof, the staff we have at Pleasant Valley and the level of work that we put in. And yes, the mother, Miss Johnson, Miss Shelley Ann Johnson, the principal, she continues to push us and to give of our best. For Region 7, I really hope that this is a message that dedication, student-centered mindedness in the classroom can make a difference. And I must say that I am proud to represent Region 7. It is a new region. So we were with Region 6 before, and now we're standing all by ourselves. And so I must say, Region 7, region of purpose, we are positioned to serve. And yes, I really wanted to take home the big trophy, but yet still, we're super proud and we are embracing our achievements.
Indeed, standing proud indeed, because
Thank
that's
you.
really commendable. Not just primary school, but high schools, primary schools in Jamaica,
Yes.
commendable. And as we round out this segment, what would you say to other teachers who may be hesitant about entering competitions or embracing innovation in the classroom?
For me, the competitions are not just about winning. We can use it as reflection. You can look to say, is my practice actually working? Am I actually reaching my students? Let's see it as growth. So I need to improve on my craft. I need to own this profession. It's a motivator. And when you participate in these competitions, you never know where it will take you. You might never know who you'll be sharing your story with. Somebody else is out there someone is out there who needs to be motivated, who needs to be confident, who need to say, yes, what I am doing is actually the right thing. My teaching approach is actually the way forward. And if I build this confidence and continue to push my students, I use student-centered lessons. I engage my students. I give them the chance to collaborate. And I also meet them at their stage, at their abilities. I incorporate their learning styles. Then trust me, it will work. And so I'll say to a teacher who is hesitant, just step out. Let's not just go for the win. Let's build our confidence and motivate yourself and others.
Well said. All right. Our young people would say, just do it. All right. And just in case you're new to the space, we do have a segment just for our young leaders or movers and shakers that takes place on third Tuesdays at 8 p.m. So you want to get connected with that. Yes, all right. So we have some commendations coming in. Yes, at Pleasant Valley Primary and Infant, we reap what we sow.
Indeed. So that's our SWP's tagline.
All
We are
right.
reaping what we sow, indeed.
Thank you so much, Lady Kelly. But don't go anywhere. We need you back on to close out. But Miss Kelly is making way, Mrs. Kelly, that is making way for Damain Fearon, our amazing, let's get him on screen before we actually show those photos. Damain Fearon,
Good
a long
evening,
time
good
in
evening,
coming,
good
but
evening.
finally we're
I am
here.
here.
And I see you have a lot of supporters in the comments here.
Trust,
You're
I am just bursting with joy knowing that they are here supporting me, and this just shows that we're all in this together.
indeed. I saw your bestie earlier said that she's here to support you. This is awesome, though. I love the camaraderie, and that's something that we need to keep going in
Definitely.
whatever avenue, right? Because we all need this kind of support. Let me see now. All right. Before we get no, let me get this one out. And that's it. Mathematics Intervention Plan, Math Bridge, a hands-on approach to problem solving and critical thinking. This is one of my favorite areas in math, by the way.
Awesome.
Yes. NCEL Aspiring Principal Participant Cohort 10. And we are going to go in for a deep dive as we hear all about this awesome initiative. Well, not just an initiative, it's really an innovative program that you have here at Maypen Primary. So tell us how the Math Bridge initiative was developed and what challenges or observations led you to this hands-on approach.
All right, before I jump into it, I just want to say congratulations to Mrs. Kelly. Awesome. And as I was listening, I heard like she took a few pointers out of my playbook, and I heard some of the things that we're going to talk about in my segment, and I was
All
just
right.
beaming with pride. So as through NCEL is a program put on through the 2004 task force that was created to train leaders or persons who aspire to become leaders, school leaders in Jamaica. Now, through the program, a 1-year program, Aspiring Principals Program, at the latter part of the program, we have to do a field experience just to get a hands-on idea as to what it is that we're really taking on, and if we really, truly think we can manage principalship. Now, when I looked, and based on the training that we received, and being a math teacher, math and science teacher, it jumped out right almost automatically that, okay, I wanted my intervention to be on mathematics, centered around mathematics and the teaching of mathematics. I went ahead and I put together with persons, fellow math teachers, and the members of my own school community, a small committee, and we assessed our school, our math performance, upper school math performance, with specific focus on grade 6. And we looked at both from the national level and the local level, or internal examinations. And when we looked, we saw a trend that we didn't quite like. We saw some issues coming out, and even in our in-class teaching, we saw the problems. Now we looked at the national results and we went ahead and we reached out to even the region. And I want to say a big thank you to my education officer, Miss Lloyd, who supplied the data for QEC 50, and that's our quality education circle. Just simply a group of schools that are placed in the same from the same region, or placed in a, as it says, a quality education circle for us to work together. Now we use that. We looked at that information and we saw that while we're seeing the issues is not just limited to Maypen Primary. We saw that okay, math, the issue that we are seeing at our school, other schools within our QEC and within the region are facing the same problems. But we didn't stop there. We went ahead and we looked at the PEP data, looking at the information that the ministry, the student assessment unit, would send out to the parents, the results. And we looked at the three main criteria that they had: the problem solving, communication and reasoning, modeling and data analysis. Now, when we looked at those three areas, we realized that problem solving was a major issue. And from that realization, we said, okay, how can we fix this? How can we attempt to fix it? What can we do to put a dent into it? We did not expect it to happen overnight, because it's the intervention started in January and it is ongoing. We're about wrapping up for NCEL purposes, but we're looking for it to continue within the space at Maypen Primary. Now, from that, we said, okay, what can we do? We did sent out some surveys. We got some ideas from the committee and from other math teachers within the school, and even with outside of the school within the QEC, and that basically made the math bridge come alive, a hands-on approach to problem solving and critical thinking, in a nutshell.
Amazing. I am just listening, and as I saw the outline before, and it's just this fresh, creative approach to building love for math, because that's something that you have to experience.
Definitely.
So I love that. So walk us through the strategies of the math bridge.
All right. So when we initially started, we were looking at three components. We call it three prongs. We looked at tackling the negative mindset. Now, if we should do a survey on the road, almost, if not everybody, would tell that they hate math. If you dig a little deeper to find out why they hate maths, the reasons aren't so, in my own opinion, so good. Yes, math can be challenging, but when we really look at it, and even from our school's perspective, from the students, we realize that the students come to the math classroom with preconceived notions about math, some that are not so accurate, and through that, at times it becomes hard to reach them. So we looked at the tackling negative mindset, and through that we incorporated a tagline for our math lessons. Math is the easiest thing you will do today. Imagine saying that at the start of every math class. Math is the easiest, and we have a poem about a whole poem just centered around that, math being the easiest thing that you will do. I remember when I started it, my students were like, "Sir, where you talk about?" But over time, them doing it and them seeing, and through the other strategies that I will explain further, they have taken on to the ideas a little better than when we just started. And in that whole tackling negative mindset, we looked at creating a math game arcade. Now, math can be fun. It is a fun subject, but at times it is not taught as such. So we looked at that, at creating that game arcade, which you will see later on in the program. And sometimes we know as teachers, we try our best, but sometimes we are just unable to reach a particular student for whatever reason. So through the initiative, we created the Numeracy Monitor program, where teachers from upper school selected 2 students from each class who showed good competence in math. They were high achievers in mathematics, and we trained them. We trained them in assisting, in learning how to assist their fellow peers in getting better at math, as good as they are. In total, we had 45 numeracy monitors at the end of the day, and wanting to give a gamified approach to our math situation, we, through our math club, introduced chess club. So right now, every Friday from the February 14th we started, we have our math and chess club happening here on screen. You're seeing our numeracy monitors being trained by one of our teachers, Mr. Morrison, who did an excellent job of training, and the students, and our chess tutor, external chess tutor, Mr. Howard Wilson, who came on board, and we have been doing it. And I want to point out something as I'm looking at this picture. Now, the chess club, the parents, and I have to give a big shout out to the parents. We're seeing one parent in the picture right now, but the parent, I remember when we started, this parent, Miss Althea, she came to me and she was like, sir, someone can stay. I said, yeah, man, you can stay and learn. And she has been, and another parent, they have been there every single Friday with their child, learning, and they're just now a part of the club. So that's our first prong. Then we looked at prong two that focused on our grade 6 students, specifically with problem solving, just teaching them some strategies on what they can use in solving questions, problem solving questions that at times seems a little bit difficult. The second step, no, we can't always blame the students and say, oh, the students are not getting it. We have to, at times, as teachers, take an inward look. What are we not doing? And Miss Kelly would have spoken to some of the things as well. And we had teacher workshops throughout the program. And through the teacher workshop, we realized that if we wanted to introduce the CPA, and CPA is the concrete pictorial approach, we needed, through a needs-based assessment, we realized that we needed some help in the fact that we needed manipulatives. So that was added midway through the program, that we sought out getting manipulatives for our, specifically right now for the grade 6, and we're looking to see how best we can put that out wide and get sponsors to come on board so we can actually throw that out, getting the manipulatives for the entire school.
All right. So that wraps up that segment. All right, let's talk us through this slide. Let's see which ones we missed, because I mean, these are just so amazing. All right. This on the left, picture on the left, is that the chess?
Yes, that's our chess program, our chess club, and we have both for chess club for upper school and lower school. And every Friday, the students are eager to come there. They remember when we just started the second week. Now, I got a little flack from the other club members because we had students who were part of, as we can see a picture here, the students are part of 4-H, and he did not go to 4-H that Friday. He came, so we had a little competition going with other clubs, but they are there and they are eager and willing to and ready to learn, especially for the lower school. They're just stepping it up, and I am so proud of it. Now we're looking on the pictures to the right. Now this was an area already created in the school, and we chose to use that as our math game arcade. Now I remember and I must give a big shout out to our muralist, Mr. Joel Cameron. He took the idea, the concept that I had, and he ran with it. And it coming on the compound, it is, people are just a buzz with what is going on, what they are seeing. I remember when he started, and what we're seeing now is the end product, but he had some shapes, and everybody was like, "What is Mr. Fearon putting on the wall? What is this?" And over time, every day that they came and they saw something new, the school was just a buzz with excitement as to what next. Right now, the persons are saying when they're away on the compound and they're looking up, they're seeing students sitting, and they have to remind themselves that, okay, this is actually a painting. Now, this one in particular, if you could go back to where the paint, yeah, I want to make a special recognition for our sponsors, especially the sponsors that we're seeing here. Now, this is a parent, and with every good idea, we need funds. And I started this with $0.00. And I reached out to different persons. I remember I started telling my coworkers I need $10,000 from everybody. And if you don't have the $10,000, find somebody. You must know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that can give you a $10,000. And this parent, Angela Wilson, when I gave her the letter, and also I just want to big up one of my coworkers as well, Miss Karen Jackson, she helped me phenomenally in getting sponsors. And Miss Wilson our parent came on board, and she started the process. I can say that without a shadow of doubt, she started our games arcade in this donation. And I'm just going to use the moment to make a special shout out recognition to a few of my other sponsors, Miss Violin Gager, Winston Casanova, Angela Wilson, you're seeing on screen, Delroy Williams, Coletta Campbell, and a greater shout out to National Self Wholesale, who came on board at the last minute, when the finances started to dwindle, and they gave me a new breath of life. Now, when we look on screen now, we're seeing some students from Central High School. I made mention earlier of QEC 50. Now, Central falls into QEC 50, albeit a high school. I remember for the numeracy monitor program, I wanted this program a launch. We did a launch, and you're seeing it here. And I reached out to the principal of Central, Mr. Stelavid Ingram, and he made connections and connected me with Mrs. Yap of Central. I was asking, I wanted a guest speaker, someone within their school's math club who would have excelled in math. And here we have Mr. Andre McIntosh coming, representing from Central, representing, and we had a ball. For our 45 numeracy monitors were pinned, and we're seeing his supporters from Central coming aboard, and it was good. And we had Effortville Primary coming along on that day, their performing arts team, and we made math fun that day. And the hope is to continue making it fun as we go out. And this that we're seeing on as a part of our games arcade, we're looking at problem solving. So we wanted to see how can we incorporate some or the generation that we teach today, they are on TikTok. They're on the phone. So we said, okay, we're going back old school and we're putting a twist to it. So we did our hopscotch, and it is math centered. We did our snake and ladder game, and it is math centered. It is on completion. We are near completion. We're about 90% complete. We have one more. We're going to make a big chessboard on the ground so students can actually go up at the math game arcade and interact with what they're seeing, the games, and just at the root have fun with math.
All right. And Sydney, it is saying, you just said earlier, Matt's made fun, wonderful job.
Thank you, Sydney.
Amazing teacher and colleague. I mean, the flowers are rolling in.
I
But
appreciate it.
how have students responded to the game, the math arcade?
All right. Even before it, as I told you, it wasn't completely finished, but we started, the process is going. I remember we cordoned off sections of it because we didn't want them going on. And every day that we went, our cordoning off was unsuccessful because it was torn down. The students went up there and we saw them just having a ball. So imagine it not being completed, and they are so eager to engage with the space when it is completed. I'm just waiting with bated breath to see and experience the palpable joy that they will have for math.
All right. This was not in the list of questions to ask you, but what else is required for it to be completed?
All right. So right now, as for the CPA, and I think I could touch on that a little bit. The CPA, the concrete pictorial abstract approach, and Miss Kelly spoke about taking math from the abstract concept. So right now, the games arcade is really, I said, 90% complete. We are going to be completing it by adding the chess board on the ground. But what we need right now is more manipulative. So for the CPA approach to be a very sustainable one, and that we can make and promise a very big school. So as much manipulation as we can get, we would appreciate that we can actually use it within the class space so the students can have this to manipulate, moving from the concrete stage to the pictorial stage to the abstract stage. Because math in its true form can be abstract, but we're trying to take it from that abstract nature and start at first principle. We take it from that concrete stage where we show students, okay, this is what we're talking about. And we move it from that concrete stage where they can manipulate the objects as it says manipulate, whether it be various different counters are just using that for now, and take it from that concrete space, converting the idea to the pictorial space, then moving it to that space that we tend to operate most in the abstract. We're trying to move away from the abstract, get them first to understand the concrete steps, moving into the pictorial and then the abstract. So if we could get more manipulatives, we would be on top of the world at this point.
All right. And for folks who do not understand what manipulatives are, break it down for us.
All right. So they're basic, and I used the counters purposefully a while ago. If you remember, probably I'm showing my age here, but if you remember back in school, you would get the counters or the bottle stoppers, that teachers would have you use. Now, we are now in the 21st century, they kind of move up from the bottle stoppers and get some more fancy stuff. So the manipulators are really just tangible objects that we can use. If we're saying, for example, we're teaching angles, we have angle legs where they can actually see the angles and manipulate the angles and move them. If you say move to a 90 degree, they can move it using the protractor and say, okay, this is 90, instead of me just drawing something on the board and saying, okay, that's a right angle. They can move it and manipulate it for themselves.
Okay. And not to worry, I used to use the bottle
Okay, so we're well.
stoppers
I
as
don't
well.
think I
So
don't think we're of the same age, but we're
you've
close
got
enough.
company. You'd be surprised. All right. But for those unfamiliar, why is it important for today's maths classroom? That's a CPA approach.
Yeah. Why is it important?
Important,
Okay,
especially for today's classroom.
simply as we are facing nationally, if we should look nationally and we hear the cries, math, we are as a country doing poorly in math. And I believe that stems from how it is, despite our teachers' best efforts, how it is we're teaching the subject and how it is the students are understanding. Now, we come from a place that, okay, we've done this already. And if I tell you, if I say multiply 5 times 5, we're assuming that they know what multiplication is and what this is. But what we're doing, or what CPA is trying to do, is breaking it down, going to the rudiments of things, letting them say, okay, 5 multiplied by 5 is really grouping, having 5 groups of 5. So if we have the manipulatives, we can use that and just having them see the thing, see it, taking it from the stages, their various developmental stages, wherever they are, just taking them through it step by step, not just taking it from this high flown area that, okay, you're coming to me at grade 6, you have this information, but understand that, yes, they should. But then there is that gap that says that they may not. And if they don't, how can we make it better for them? If not, if we don't do anything, we're going to continue having failing students in math.
Indeed. So with that being said, how has the training impacted your teachers' confidence and lesson delivery there?
When we started, based on the requirements of NCEL, we are data driven,
Yeah.
or our initiative must be data driven. So we started out asking teachers, sending surveys both for teachers and students, just asking them what they would need. So the teachers, we asked them what they needed. Teachers said they wanted training to help them better their pedagogy. Now, as Miss Kelly said it earlier, that they started subject teaching. We did likewise, and we, as a school, we're trying to see how best we can put a dent in the math problem. Now, through the workshops that that we had, and I must say a big shout out to Michelle Moy Lee, who came on board as our first presenter, and she really opened the staff, the math teachers' eyes to some of the things that even we thought were manipulatives were really not. They were really teaching aids. And ending that workshop, and that is why the fourth prong came in. Teachers were like, okay, this is good, but we need so and so. And I, through the committee and myself and through our sponsors, they helped us to start that process. And the teachers, I remember one teacher she always said that she has an issue with scale drawing, and that's a topic in math. And I got some help for her through the CPA, and she was like, okay, not bad at all, and she is happy to try it, and she's doing it now and implementing it. And it's not easy, but it is better than when she did not have that CPA knowledge.
Amazing. Outside of that, are there any other feedback that you've received from other teachers, students that really affirm the success of this approach so far?
All right, the students are algebra. Algebra is one of those abstract subject. Imagine all your life you've known math to have numbers, and then both you hear, oh, letter, find x, find y, and you have numbers being integrated, numbers and letters being integrated, language and math joining forces. So I remember we started to use the algebra tiles, and one of my students was like, sir, when I do like algebra, I say, yeah, man, give it a try. And we did it, and the algebra tiles helped her to get the concept a little bit better. And she, at the end of our lesson, was like, okay, sir, that bad, And I was happy for that, just based off that one interaction. That, okay, she using this algebra tile for the first time, and she was able to say, okay, this topic or this strand that she did not like as much, she's now saying, okay, she's willing and open to actually giving it a try. And our parents are involved. They, as I spoke about earlier, in different programs from the chess, and as I said, just from even the games arcade, you will see persons, they may not say it directly, but they will come and they're just looking and they're smiling and they're liking what they are seeing. So from that, I'm getting that, okay, this is something that we did not know that we needed, but it has come at the right time and it is being appreciated and used.
All right. And it's a good point to share these flowers with you. Christina says, greatness is within this teacher.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. I
All
learned it from
right.
you.
And Lady Holmes, Shirley, my domain never be comfortable. Don't let anyone move your cheese. Excellent move.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you.
Congratulations rolling in on your dedication to impacting the lives of our teachers and students. And this is the beauty about it. It's not just the students that you're impacting, but the teachers and the parents. So it's a
Definitely.
whole community approach, and I love that. Which brings us to Romario's question. Always some awesome comment and question in one. Excellent stuff. Keep up the great work. Would you be able to collaborate with other primary schools across Clarendon? Because this would really shift the mindset of the youngsters.
Definitely. And I know our region and even the QEC is attempting to do that. So I am open, and we are creating a math policy that will govern how this program is implemented. So once that is completed, we'll have the framework in which we can use and pass it around to other schools for them to copy and make it their own. So we're definitely open.
Fantastic. I love that, the sustainability approach. And we are looking forward to seeing, and I'm sure that we'll be hearing more about Math Bridge
Most
as
definitely.
time progresses. I'm happy we had the opportunity to have this conversation, a long time in coming, but I have to say thank you to the SRC community, Mrs. Holmes Shirley, and of course, let's bring on back Mrs. Kelly, Romario, as well as Romeo, 2 hours, Romario Romeo. You are the second, third, one, two, three, yes, 3 educators we've had in this space. So we featured another educator that's doing some awesome work in the cultural arena on Culture Corner earlier this month from Clarendon. Believe it was Very Technical. Is that right, Romario? It's Very Technical High School. We highlighted the visual arts. Now we're looking at mathematics. And I'm looking forward to highlighting even more of these amazing stories. Yeah, all right, thank you. Right, so that's part of what we do here in this space, to highlight so that you can help to shine the light to pull others along, those who have the idea but they're not so sure it makes sense, just get started.
Definitely.
And you don't have to do it alone. There are others who are walking the walk, talking the talk, so you can reach out and get support. So we're looking forward to bigger and better things from Sasha Ashley-Kelly and Damain Fearon and the others. Thank you, teachers, educators, and others, community members, and for the parents too who continues to support. Thank you so much. And as we prepare to close out the community corner for this month, what's one change you'd love to see in how we teach and think about maths in Jamaica? And how does your work contribute to that vision? Mrs. Kelly, and then Sir Fearon.
All right, so one change I would like to see is just the way we deliver mathematics on a daily basis. So, as I said before, let's make mathematics relatable. Let's use the students' experiences. Let's think about them managing a shop. Let's use what's in the school community. So most persons, they have a shop. So use what's there, use what they can relate to. Let's make the lessons student-centered. Let's ensure we are able to break these complex steps down to their level. Let's remember that everyone learns differently. And so we need to ensure that we reach every single student. Yes, they might not move at the same pace, but at the end of a school year, at the end of a term, you will be able to use the data to say, yes, I was able to move the child from point X to Y, or I was able to move the child from A to B. Allow the students to discover. Let them see the relevance. Continue to relate mathematics to real life experiences. Mathematics is in every single thing that we do. It is a way of life.
Well said. Sir Fearon?
I totally agree. And just for me, I love to see we change how math is taught. And if we can tackle that negative mindset that is around surrounding the subject, and just to have, just as how we would teach science and we have a science lab, turn math into that exploration where students get to really experiment with the subject, step away from the rote learning, and have students really get to understand the concepts behind math. Because when we do rote learning, we've realized that you change a question and the students are completely lost because they don't understand, and they're not at first principle. They do not understand what it is that they were doing, just going through the motions. So simply just transforming our math classrooms, experimenting with math, and just plainly having fun, gamify math as best as possible, and reach our students, make it fun, make it relatable, and at the end of the day, make math the easiest thing our students will do today.
That's a challenge. And I'm sure some of our teachers are going to be answering the call. All right. Johnson is saying Mr. Fearon taking it internationally. So it's not just Clarendon, Jamaica, but internationally. Well, you're already international.
And we need finances. Let me just drop that in. We need our sponsors.
So talk to those in the diaspora who will be seeing this.
All right, definitely. No, for the person in diaspora, I know teachers. I've spoken to teachers that would have left, and I know that there are even the manipulatives. You guys, they are there, and after a school cycle, sometimes they are discarded. Now, if we can put it together, there must be some way that we can reach out, if it's even for reaching out to different schools, just putting a package together, reaching out and sending that, and we can find a way to clear it. There are schools, adopt a school, whether in the diaspora or even locally, to our local community members, adopt a school and see how best. There is need. The Ministry of Education through the government they have tried, but there's much more that can be done. And if we want to see a change in our nation, we have to put pedal to the wheel and make it happen. So we're reaching out, and I'm saying, send help.
It's a good thing I asked you to do that, because it just triggered a side of my brain to say I have an organization in my contact that will be able to do just that. So awesome. I will share the information with you.
Thank you.
It's good to talk. You're welcome. All right. So Fusey is saying, keep up the great work, Mrs. Kelly, and you too, Mr. Fearon. I hope that you guys will take math to a whole different level where even our primary students are designing devices and bots. Yes, it's possible.
Trust. It is possible.
It is.
Yes. They're saying, I hear the passion, Mr. Fearon. All right. And we are going to be the fuel that ignites that passion even further so that we can sustain the flames, because it takes cash to care. All right. Let me thank you both so much. Such a powerful and inspiring conversation. Big thank you, Lady Ashley-Kelly and Sir Fearon, for sharing not just your accomplishments, but your commitment to reimagining how maths is taught, learned, and experienced in Jamaican classrooms. And not just wanting to keep it in your space, but to just allow other students and teachers across Jamaica to experience a similar transformation within their spaces. So from Lady Kelly's national recognition in the 2025 Math Teacher of the Year competition, to Damain's innovative Math Bridge program that's transforming student engagement and teacher development at Mapen Primary. It's clear that passion, as one of our viewers indicated earlier, creativity and bold thinking are leading the way in education. So if you were inspired, don't keep it to yourself. Share the replay, start a conversation in your school, and connect with the Serenity Resource Connector as we continue to spotlight change makers across Jamaica in the different spaces. You'll never know, you might be next in the space to share the awesome stuff that you're doing in your neck of the woods. And if you know someone that's doing amazing work in the community, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to spotlight and get support to keep these initiatives going. So follow us across all platforms at Serenity Resource Connector, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and set your notification to join us on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and on second and third Tuesdays at 8 p.m. All right, Christina is inspired, so I can see you sharing the link already, Christina. And don't worry, we also have a blog recap coming out on Monday, God's willing. So you can share that as well. The link will be in that recap, so you can share for those who prefer to read. All right, let's get some of these comments in. Almost at the top of the hour. Remembered Mr. Fearon was being appraised, and we did have a shop in his lesson, and also have the children guess real sellers. Cheese tricks and all. All right, cheese tricks. It's a long time I don't hear that one. Amazing, amazing work indeed. So just keep the flames alive, and I can see that you have a very supportive community, and just continue to maintain that camaraderie as we continue to transform lives in our individual spaces and working together to move things forward. So until next time, keep building, keep reimagining, and keep empowering, because that's what it's all about. Right?
Thank you for having us.
My absolute pleasure. All right. So I look forward to sharing even more amazing stories in this space.
Thank you. Bye.
The SRC Community Corner Live Forum is brought to you on third Thursdays at 8 p.m. Visit our website at www.serenityresourceconnector.com and subscribe to receive our weekly blog post. Join us again on Thursday at 8 p.m. for our local governance live forum with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Thank you for watching.